I'm Clara.
And I'm Gwen.
And I'm Preston.
And we are the Overflow Kids Worship Band at home.
Quarantine edition.
And we are going to be singing a song called Cannons that you probably know from church.
If you know it, sing it along.
Ready? 1, 2, ready, go.
Thank you.
Hello, Overflow Kids. Pastor Sheila here again, bringing you Overflow Kids right to your home. So parents, first of all, I would love to thank you for this opportunity to speak to your children, and I'm so honored that I get to come alongside of you during this time and encourage and teach your children about Jesus. Last week, I enjoyed seeing the pictures of the Salon Family Time Challenge. That was really awesome and great. Thank you so much for sending those in. Also, I'd like to thank you for sending in your videos of saying your memory verse. Speaking of which, let's say it together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Lord, you are great. You are really worthy of praise. No one can completely understand how great you are. Psalms 145:3, Nerve. So this week is the last week to send in those videos reciting that verse. I'll give you a new verse next week, and make sure that you send those videos in, because that's how I'm recording, that you get 2 pieces of Kid Cash. Don't forget also about the 2020 challenge, reciting 1 Corinthians chapter 13. I'm still looking for the first person to do that. If you send me a video of you reciting this, you will get 20 pieces of cash, 40 pieces of cash. Parents, when your family is done watching this video, don't forget I have discussion questions at the end. If you make sure you comment on the Overflow Kids Facebook page so they can write down and give your child that $3 in Kid Cash in my record. So make sure you're commenting that you watched it. Make sure you're sending in those videos of you saying your memory verse. It's really important. All right, so here we go. This week's lesson time. So we've talked a little bit about fish during this series. We're in the middle of a gross series. Things are really gross. For those of you who are fishing enthusiasts, who have been fishing before, may not realize this, but your hobby is, well, it's a little gross. We already mentioned that fishermen have to take live, gross, disgusting, slimy worms and jab them into a sharp metal hook. And then if you're lucky enough to get a fish to bite on that worm, you reel in a wet, slimy fish. Some folks fish for food, which means after they catch the fish, they get to cut it open. They get to cut off its scales, getting fishy guts all over their hands and their clothes in the process. If that isn't gross and disgusting, I don't know what is. Some folks skip all the scaling, cutting, and gutting and merely fish for fun. They catch the fish, they reel it in, and then they release it back into the water. But even those folks can't escape one gross encounter with that fish, because before you can release it, you have to reach into that gross, slimy, wet, yucky mouth and remove the hook. So there's no easy way to remove that hook either. You have to hold the fish steady, gently extract the metal from its mouth, and then toss the flapping, flailing fish back into safe waters. It's gross and it's icky, but any fisherman will tell you it's all a part of the fun. I would like for everyone in the room to make their best fish face. Today's Bible story, if you haven't guessed, is about fish. It's another fishy tale. This time, it's not about a giant fish, but a small fish. Today's story has a twist ending that's a little bit gross, but it is miraculous. So let's read about it. You'll find today's story in Matthew 17:24 through 27. In this story, a group of men wanted to test and see if Jesus would pay a tax to the temple. The offering was paid voluntary by all Israelite men to help keep up the temple. The men went to Peter, who said he was certain Jesus would pay the tax, and then Peter went to talk about the tax with Jesus. This is where the gross part comes in. Jesus told Peter, an experienced fisherman, to go catch a fish. Inside the fish was a coin that would pay the tax for both of them. Peter had no doubts Jesus would do as he said, and sure enough, the fish he caught had a coin in its mouth. Jesus wants us to have faith like Peter. He wants us to trust him to provide for all of our needs. Sometimes God's ways are really unexpected, but we can trust Jesus to always provide for us. So the simple story often gets overlooked, and that is a real shame. This story really illustrates how God provides for his people who have faith. The men who came to Peter wanted more than just the tax. They wanted to test Jesus to see if they could catch him contradicting himself. Peter, who had faith in Jesus, took his request right to Jesus, believing that he would answer him. If you read this passage, you'll find out that Jesus knew what Peter was going to ask even before he asked it. Jesus already knew what Peter wanted, and he wanted to show Peter by telling him before he could even ask. Jesus knows all of our thoughts, all of our concerns, all of our requests too, yet he still wants us to come and to ask him. Like Peter, we need to submit our requests to the Lord, expecting an answer. Our church has a whole thing on expectancy, and this is really a part of it. God knows our hearts. God knows what we want, what we need, but he wants us to have that relationship with him. He wants us to come to him. So instead of simply giving Peter a coin out of his pocket, Jesus asked Peter to take action, to go catch a fish, to go look for the coin in the gross fish's mouth. Ugh. Sometimes God answers prayer by asking us to take action, another step of faith. Peter did just as Jesus requested, and sure enough, there was the coin, just as Jesus promised. So, now it's time for the object lesson.
Hi Overflow Kids. So I thought for today's object lesson we'd do something a little fun. I thought we would go on a field trip to my neighbor's house. So why don't you follow me? Come on.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? It's a neighborly day in this beauty wood, a neighborly day for a beauty. Could you be mine? Would you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor?
Hey!
Hi Pastor Lynn.
What's going on, neighbors?
Hi,
What y'all up
neighbor.
to?
Oh, well, I have Overflow Kids with us today.
Hey,
and
Overflow Kids!
I thought that since we're talking about fish, I know you have some fish.
I have a lot of fish.
Could you show us some?
Come on in. So first of all, I have some fish right outside my bedroom window. I have 3 koi and 3 turtles that are right there as well. And a lot of, that's not a real duck, by the way. And a lot of lizards and snakes. Okay, so this is my 2,000-gallon koi pond. As you can see, I have a lot of turtles in here, about 20 turtles, different variations of turtles, and there's about 30 fish in here, different variations of koi fish. So you're gonna see some butterfly koi, what's called zipperback koi, scaleless koi, just multicolored. They're carp is actually what they are. They're from Japan. They were bred by the emperors of Japan as pets thousands of years ago, and that's how they become who they are today. So all koi have actually come from Japan. So let me take you outside and I'll feed them so you can see all the turtles and the fish up closer. Okay, so this is our 90-gallon aquarium, and so you'll see several catfish in here. There's a green Severin. There are 3 angelfish in here. There's a big blue gourami in the back. There are plecostomuses in here. There's a silver catfish down here at the bottom. There's a red tetra fish that's swimming around. And then there's a couple of bolo sharks that you can see there with the black tip. They look like sharks. So we love this fish tank as well. This is the green Severin right there. They think it's feeding time because they see me and they associate me with food, so they get really excited when I come out. I have been raising these koi since 2007, but they're a little shy. That's why they're koi. That was a Chris Thomas quote. And these are alligators here. I chopped off their bodies so that they're harmless. Got a couple of ducks, mallard ducks.
So, Pastor Lynn, have you ever held a fish before?
Oh yeah.
One of these guys?
Yes, I have. Because what they'll do is they jump in the out of the water and they'll go this high, and sometimes they inadvertently jump out. So I've had to pick them up and throw them back in again because a fish out of water doesn't live very long. So I'll pick them up and they're real slimy, and some of them don't have scales. Some of them are actually scaleless koi. So they have like a glitter. They're called glitter koi. It's amazing how many different kinds of koi there are. So. I call him Scooby. That's Scooby the turtle. This is Sunshine. He was the size of a quarter when we found him. Red-eared turtle, lighter. This is actually a musk turtle. Scooby. We had 3 of them.
How many fish do you have?
There's about 30 in here. See that right there? That's a razorback. It's got like a zipper back. It's got like a zipper on top of that. It's just on them. They're like zippers. Got a butterfly koi. That fish, if you were to buy that fish, it'd be $600 or $700.
Wow.
To have that color, that real pretty yellow, and be a butterfly. There's a blue one in here that would be $1,000. For buying. So that's a scaleless one. You see how it doesn't have any scales on them? And it kind of glitters. So they actually bred some fish to not have scales, so they would be they would reflect in the sun. This is a coral snake. You don't handle coral snakes unless they're rubber.
So, Pastor Lynn, I hear that you have some coins from like when Jesus was alive. Is
Yes,
that true?
I do. So there's a story about Jesus needing to pay taxes, and also another where he was asked whose likeness was on it, and then another time when he was fishing, he took a coin out of the fish's mouth. So this was the very coin that was taken out of the fish's mouth.
The very one.
The very one. This is it. And actually, I have a special deal today for you, for who want to purchase it. This is a denarius. This is the likeness of Caesar Augustus, who was the king reigning over the entire empire when Jesus was born. And so actually you can see what it looks like. So they didn't have pictures back then, so they would make a likeness using silver. So this is a denarius. So when you'd work an entire day, at the end of the day, your boss wouldn't give you a check or cash. your boss would give you a denarius. So a denarius was 1 day's labor. And so some, though, think that it was Tiberius. This is Caesar Tiberius. He was the king who was ruling when Jesus was crucified and raised from the dead. And the Sea of Galilee is also referred to as the Sea of Tiberias. So the lake in Israel was named after Tiberius. So this was the Caesar who was ruling when Jesus was crucified and raised from the dead. So this could have been the coin that the fish ate in the Sea of Tiberius that Peter took out and paid the taxes, the temple tax, for Jesus and for himself.
Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing.
All
that
right,
with
love
us.
having you guys
And
over.
your fish. Thanks for sharing. You're my neighbor, but you're their neighbor too.
I love you too. I love the Joneses. See ya.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think the best part of our Bible lesson today is the fish. Jesus answers the request in a way that had to make Peter smile and maybe even laugh. Maybe that last video clip made you smile a little bit. It's God's way of not only showing His power, but also giving a reason to laugh and to rejoice. Our God is such a loving God, and it gives Him pleasure to fulfill our requests. He wants us to rejoice when He answers, and He wants our faith to grow. There's nothing pretty about the inside of a fish's mouth, but this growth story shows us that when we take our requests to God, not only will He answer them, He will do so in a way that really gives us greater faith and greater joy. So whatever needs you might have, and I know this is a time where everybody's thinking about their needs. What do you need? Because we don't know what the future holds, right? God already knows your needs. You can pray and you can give your requests and your needs to God every single day, and He will answer. It may not happen the way you expect it to happen, but it will put a smile on your face. So let's go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, I just pray for all of the Overflow families and anyone who is listening right now, Lord. I know that in times of need, you do come and you do provide. Maybe not always how we expect. Maybe you even wait to the last minute, but you always provide and take care of your children. And I just thank you so much for teaching us that. Thank you so much for reminding us of that, especially during this time. I just pray that you would be with all of the families at Overflow Church this week, and anyone who is listening. We just pray that they are blessed and provided for. In Jesus' name, amen. Now it's time to answer some small group questions with your family. Here we go. What is the grossest thing you've ever had to touch? What did the men ask Peter? How did Jesus know what Peter was going to ask? What did Jesus ask Peter to do? What did Peter find in the fish? What should we do when we need something from the Lord? All right, well, that about wraps things up. I'm going to leave you with another family game challenge. This game is called Fish Face. So you're practicing earlier. What I want you to do is take a group picture of your entire family making a fish face. post it on the Overflow Kids page, hashtag Overflow Kids Ministry. I'd love to see them. I hope you guys have a great week and keep on spreading that joy and laughter, and know that you are provided for.